Arsenal was among the world's top teams at the beginning of the 21st century. At the end of the 1990s, Arsène Wenger assisted in reversing the Gunners' fortunes and putting them back on the football map. But Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, and Patrick Vieira and other legendary players from Arsenal's heyday have long since left the club. It's a different club in an entirely different setting. When was the last time Arsenal won the Premier League? Arsenal last won the Premier League during the 2003-04 season, when it was known as the Barclaycard Premiership. Because they went undefeated in 38 league games and won 26, this season is referred to as the Gunners' Invincibles year. It is still the only time in Premier League history and the second time in English top-flight football that a team has gone the entire season without suffering a loss. Considering that Preston North End accomplished this feat back in 1888 to 1889 at that time. A unique, all-gold Premier League trophy was given to Arsenal to recognise their accomplishment. When Wenger left in 2018, he received this as a gift. Prior to that, Arsenal also won the Premier League in 1997-98 and 2001-2002, and they won the old Division 1 Championship 10 times. Arsenal has won the Premier League more frequently than any other team except for Manchester United, 13, Manchester City, 6, and Chelsea, 5. Liverpool, 19, has also won the English top division more often overall. Why hasn't Arsenal won the Premier League since then? Ironically connected to a desire to support them staying at the top is one of the main reasons Arsenal hasn't won the Premier League since 2004. The late 1990s and early 2000s, when they became Manchester United's main competitors. The Arsenal team realised how little money they made on match days was really hurting them. They made the choice to depart from Highbury, their spiritual home, and head to the cutting-edge Emirates Stadium. Arsenal had to pay off the debt they accrued to build the arena, though, for the first 10 or so years they lived in their new stadium. I.e., in an effort to balance the books, they frequently had to sell key players. The revenue streams for Manchester United kept expanding in the interim. And before financial fair play regulations went into effect, Roman Abramovich invested hundreds of millions of pounds in Chelsea. Around the time that Arsenal made significant transfers for Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez in 2013 and 2014, they had largely paid off the stadium debt. The setting for the Premier League was entirely different. Also taken over and elevated to a powerhouse was Manchester City. While Liverpool and Tottenham started to make more informed purchases. The club needed new approaches, even though Wenger did a good job of leading them through their years of debt, according to the Wenger era's closing years. Unai Emery didn't seem to be the ideal replacement, though. And in order to get Arsenal moving forward once more, Mikel Arteta had to force them to take a few steps back. However, after a few seasons of feeling embarrassed and cringing around every corner, Arsenal currently has the best chance to win the Premier League championship in recent memory. The next Premier League title for Arsenal is when? By 2 points at the end of the 2021-2022 season, Arsenal failed to qualify for the Champions League. Although they did, it must be said, control their own destiny, they blew a top 4 finish in the final stretch. The following year, however, they were the dominant team at the top of the Premier League going into the 2022 World Cup break. Offering the champions Manchester City the challenge. Martin Odegaard manages games from beginning to end, William Saliba, who has returned, has strengthened their defence, and Bukayo Saka, who has continued to develop as a leader for Arsenal's attack, is a key player. By the beginning of January, the Gunners held a commanding lead over the competition. For a team that is otherwise inexperienced in a title race, former top-flight champions like Oleksandr Zinchenko and Kieran Tierney will be looked to as leaders. Although Manchester City has struggled, they have previously displayed their ability to rise above adversity and win the title in the second half of the season. Arteta and Arsenal face a tremendous challenge. But depending on who you ask, they're definitely in the running and may even be favourites.